Hello, everyone, and welcome to the eighth episode of the Hipfire podcast. As always, I'm your co host, Yasser, joined by my other co host, Seth. And today we have a special episode for you guys today, as today we'll be interviewing the man, the myth, the legend, CDL Intel, or as some of you know him as, Crone. Now, for those of you living under a rock, Crone is the number one source for Call of Duty League intel, rumors, and leaks. He has amassed over 86,000 followers on Twitter and broke the majority of the roster moves prior to the MW season. Additionally, he has his own Discord that boasts nearly 4,500 or 4,500 members, and he's essentially the CDL version of Woj. Also, throughout the podcast, we'll be highlighting our favorite tweets from his account. But enough talking. How are you doing, Crone?
I'm good, man. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for showing up. But with all our guests, we'd like to ask if you could introduce yourself, tell us how did you get into competitive Call of Duty, your favorite player and team, and what your favorite Call of Duty of all time is.
Well, my name's Crone. I'm from New Zealand. I'm 29 years old, so I'm pretty old compared to some of these people out here. I got into competitive Call of Duty. Black Ops 3 was my first game, so I was a little bit late to Call of Duty. I started watching T Martin, and then from T Martin, I found he was playing game battles, and then I found Scump Formal, discovered Optic, and then I kind of didn't watch much between Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. World War II is when I really got involved in it. That's when I started learning all the teams, all the players, everything that was going on. My favorite player. I don't have a favorite player. It'd probably be Scump, Formal, and anyone from the APAC region.
I'm sure Paj will be
Uh,
happy to hear that.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
My favorite team, I root for Paris and Chicago.
Nice. So, Seth, why don't you start us off with some of the questions we have here today?
All right, sure. So first question to start it off, we want to know, so what inspired you to create your account and become the self-proclaimed number one COD insider in the COD scene?
I mean, honestly, like I wasn't even trying to be this person. It just kind of just happened overnight. There was, as most of you know, there was a guy called Cold Burner, and he was on Reddit. But I understood that a lot of people didn't like going on Reddit because it's a pretty weird place to go to sometimes. So I created this account to help people that didn't want to go on Reddit. They were on Twitter because I know everyone goes on Twitter. It's the first app everyone checks when they wake up. And no one was covering what he was saying, so I decided to make this Twitter page and just basically copy and paste everything he was saying from Reddit onto Twitter, and it just like exploded out of nowhere. And I didn't even realize what I really had until I was like 6 months in. I think the first 10 days I got 10,000 followers, and I didn't even use Twitter that much, and I didn't realize how crazy that was. And I thought, I thought I was just having fun, just joking around, trolling, and helping people out at the same time. And then it just, I don't know, it just exploded, and I just turned into like you said, like the Watcher Call of Duty. It was a total accident. I didn't want it to happen. I wasn't trying to make it happen. I was just trying to help the community that didn't want to go on Reddit, and then it just snowballed, and here I am now. Intel Call of Duty, 80,000 followers in 2 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's actually insane.
It's crazy.
Just to follow up a bit more about yourself, we're both curious how you managed to keep up with all the intel, given that you do live in the APAC and you do have a full-time job, correct?
Yeah, and I'm a father as well. I honestly I can't even answer that question. I don't know how I do it either. I'm lucky that I work in a job where one of my close friends is my supervisor, and he understands what I do on Twitter. So he doesn't. If he sees me on my phone for 30 minutes trying to research something, he doesn't care. He didn't say anything. So I'm lucky that I work in a job where I can be on my phone whenever I want.
That's pretty
blessed. But it's tough, man. If I ever leave that job, honestly, I don't think I could carry on doing the page. I would probably have to just quit.
Fair enough.
But, and then on top of all that, I'm also a dad as well. Which is if you're a dad or you're a parent, that's a second full-time job.
Yeah, massive props to you there, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Moving forward, a lot of ourselves, as well as people on Reddit and even in the Discord, want to know how well exactly would you say are you known by the pros? In other words, like what is your relationship with the pros? How deep does it go?
I mean, they all. I think almost all of them follow my page, apart from maybe 6 or 7. So I get the feeling most of them like me. They don't hate me. I try not to troll them. When I first started the page, I didn't care about it. I used to troll people all the time. Pros
Yeah.
blocked me, and I was doing dumb shit, getting blocked. But I feel like most of the pros know who I am. They all know they all know my name, Crone. They always say my name in streams, which is crazy to me because I'm still. I look at myself as a fan, and all these pros know who I am. All these pros that I love watching, I'm a big fan of. They all know who I am, and some of them DM me asking for things, or some of them sometimes they tell me things, and it's insane.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But just a bit of a follow-up. A lot of the community wanted to know if there was any pros that necessarily disliked what you did or weren't very approving.
I don't think so. I don't think Clayster likes me, but he has a fair enough reason to not like me.
Okay, cool.
I don't think many pros hate me. I think even if I left the scene today, someone's gonna replace me. Someone else is gonna leak things. It's just up to me to keep it as professional as I can and not hurt the pros in any way. And they have no reason to hate me if I do that.
Yeah. True, it's fair enough. Clayster, huh?
Yeah, it's fair.
Clayster loves drama, so I'm sure that's something too familiar for him.
He does.
So,
he has a good reason though, to be fair, on his part.
I see. So when you take it away.
Yeah. So yeah, following that grain, have you ever been contacted by a pro or org to take down intel that you posted?
Not by an org. Pros definitely do. It's not intel. It's more. The best example is Zoomer. Like he says some crazy shit on his streams, and I'll clip it, or Reddit will clip it, and I'll post it, and he's DM'd me probably 3 times in the last 2 years and said, "Yo, can you delete that for me, please?" And I can't find it. If a pro comes to me and it's not an important information, then I'll delete it. I don't really care. But nah, franchise has never come to me asking me to delete things. I don't think they ever expect me to. They expect things to leak it by this point. But it's funny though, because I actually had Toronto actually mailed me a couple of days ago and asked me to send me some apparel. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I was just curious about that question, just because I know Hex in particular has talked about how he hates leaks. So I was curious if he ever reached out to you about like anything that you had to do with T2P or not.
Nah, he never reached out to me personally, but he did when I first started the page. He wrote me a comment when I was COD burner, and so just told me I had no life and those type of things. I thought that was. I actually posted on my personal Twitter a couple of months ago. It was pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
But that was it. No one. I think. I don't know. I get the feeling they all just respect what I do and they understand that if I don't do it, someone else is going to do it. And we had the COD burner, which was 20 times worse than I was. He was pretty bad.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
At least I'm respectable about it. I'm not posting about what John did and what Momo did and what Ben Simona did. I keep it professional as I can.
Yeah, if I remember, the COD burner had like his own TMZ like Reddit page as well. It was kind of insane.
Yeah, he didn't care about anything. To be fair, when I first started the page, I didn't care about anyone's feelings. I was just trolling, and then when I realized that I could turn this into something special, it's when I took it serious and I renamed it to CWO Intel, and now CDL Intel.
Nice. But Seth, I guess the next question we had was, what was the first bit of intel that you leaked / reported on?
For myself, it was probably the biggest one I remember at the start was probably when Hook got traded to Splice. That was like one of the biggest things I ever first leaked by myself without help from the COD burner. And after that, the next biggest was probably when I leaked that Misfits were buying a franchise sport in Miami. Ended up being Florida, obviously. I thought that one was crazy. As a fan leaking $25 million information. I don't know. That just freaks me out that I was able to do that.
That's pretty cool. So Seth, why don't you take
definitely some pressure?
Question 6. I skipped that one by accident.
You're good. All right. So this is a question I was wondering. What percentage of your intel comes from pros versus coaches or outside people DMing you? What's that ratio like?
Pros, it's pretty low. I don't know. If I was to put a number on it, maybe like 10%. And not often the pros do tell me things, but they're not my go-to sources that I always go to. Because I guess they're always scared that I'm going to screenshot it or, whatever.
10%. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So also, what piece of intel that you received over, I guess, your career, so to speak, shocked you the most?
Probably John getting banned. I mean, I can say a few things. John getting banned is one. When a lot of people were, for some reason, telling me that Scump was going to Envy, and this was before when they were becoming Dallas Empire. That never happened. I don't know if that was ever true. Another one would be early in my career when I didn't really check with sources or anything like that. Someone told me that Clayster was getting dropped from United, but that never happened, and I don't know if that was everything either. There was obviously drama between those guys there, so it might have been on the table.
It definitely, if I recall correctly, it was towards the beginning of the Black Ops 4 season. I think all of his teammates wanted him dropped, but
yeah, something like that. I don't remember the full story. I have the worst memory.
Yeah,
I think Burns. Yeah,
Birds kept him on. So yeah, that was definitely a thing.
Yeah, that would have been crazy if Clayster got dropped or Scump went to MV.
Seth, why don't you take the next question?
Yeah. So when the start of the CDL, before it started, crazy roster mania that happened, you pretty much got everything spot on with all the roster moves.
Yeah.
So how certain were you on those moves? Like, how much was it concrete, or was some of them guesses?
None of them were guesses. I almost never try and make guesses. I was fortunate enough to get a DM by someone that knew a lot of information, and I kind of just ran with it. And I did check with some people, and I was just doing background checks, checking Twitter, checking who was following who, Twitter clips, and all those type of things. And then I just dropped the bomb and leaked. I think it was like 8 teams at once. It still blows my mind that I'm able to do that.
I have part of that tweet. Yeah.
Yeah. I go back and read them now and then, and like they're really accurate.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, that's what was crazy to us. Is they were spot on. It was to the point where like I was wondering if it must have been concrete, but also some of them seemed like they were such big stretches that I don't know how complete the evidence was. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
some of them were such stretches.
I was just lucky enough to have the DMs. I think I did throw a couple of guesses in there just to kind of cover my ass if it was wrong. But for the most part, I try to run off like facts that I've heard anyway.
So following that question, have you ever tweeted out / gotten any intel wrong? And if so, what was it exactly?
Yeah, I said that Scump was going to Envy or that. I said Envy was interested in Scump or something along those lines, and that was wrong. But I've definitely got things wrong. I know a lot of people say that I don't miss, but I've definitely got things wrong. It's just the CDL teams was one thing that I felt like I was like 100% accurate there. I don't think I got anything wrong aside from maybe a coach or a sub or small things like that.
Yeah, we went back to look at the tweets and pretty much every single thing was on. Even the Rambo being a coach, but like that, which was way before he ended up being the coach.
Yeah, it was like 4 months later it happened. I was like, wait, I was right.
Yeah, he ended up being right with that one. So it was pretty insane. But Seth, when do you take the next question?
So after the roster mania before the CDL happened, do you expect there to be a similar roster mania coming into next year, or be a little quieter?
I think the roster mania we just had to go into Modern Warfare will be the craziest we'll ever see because every team was starting brand new. I think next year, people will stick together. I think only at most 2 people stuck together from Black Ops 4 to Modern Warfare. I don't think any trio stuck together. So that was a real crazy roster mania, and I don't think it'll ever be that crazy ever again. But I hope it is crazy, especially if they add new teams. I assume you're probably going to ask me.
Well, the nice thing is,
the
nice thing is like the 1-year contracts that kind of lends itself to maybe a nice roster mania. But...
Yeah, I don't know because I feel like the pros are even confused about that. Some of them are saying, I think Silly said 1 year, then others said no. Some of them are 1 year plus 1. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Contracts is one thing that I struggle to get information on because unless someone sends me the actual contract I can't really just throw out numbers and throw out years and how much they're getting paid.
Yeah.
So it's tough to get contract information.
Yeah, like I know Seth on Eavesdrop podcast talked about he had another year left on his contract. So I guess not all the players have necessarily one. But following up on that question about potential expansion, have you heard anything about potential expansion into the CDL for next year?
I haven't heard much. The only bit of information I've heard is that groups are definitely interested in buying into the CDL, which I'm not surprised at all. As much as people want to say it's a waste of money, $25 million down the drain.
Mhm.
But honestly, most people they say they probably have less than $1,000 in their bank and they don't have a clue about anything. That's worth $25 million, including myself.
That's
Like
fair.
we don't know what they're saying in these meetings and what they're selling them.
Mhm.
So I mean, I hope more do join. And like I said, I've heard people have told me that that groups are interested. So it wouldn't surprise me if they had 2 teams, 4 teams, maybe 6 teams. I doubt 6 teams. So I think 2 or 4 would be the number.
Okay.
So I know you said you don't have much knowledge to divulge on terms of contracts, but
Yeah.
could you give us like an estimate on what you believe the highest salary for a pro in the CDL is that you've heard?
Jesus. Let me get my calculator out. I mean, I've heard pros getting paid over 30 grand a month.
Jeez.
What?
So I mean, that's like $360,000 per
Yeah.
year.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's insane.
But I mean, I think there's a lot of them are in the 20 to 30K bracket, maybe a little bit less than 30. But like I said, it's hard to say. Like I can't just throw out numbers without seeing
Yeah.
an actual contract. Because
Sure.
at the end of the day, I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to contracts.
Of course.
Rosters are a little bit easier because it's a lot easier, but when we're talking numbers, it's a little bit different.
Mhm.
But I think the most paid it'd be someone like Scump, or I heard Egg secured an insane bag.
Really?
Really?
I don't know how big it is, but that's pretty funny considering he hasn't played for a long time.
He's also not grinding the game at all, apparently.
He probably hasn't even played the game in 6 months.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think so. Yeah.
He told us gone bench and then just I guess went on vacation for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
Yep.
But very nice.
I saw him buy a Skyline GTR. I can't remember what it was. So he definitely secured some sort of bag.
Damn.
Oh, good for him.
So when you take the next
So
question.
what was? Yeah, so veer off into the Twitter discussion here. So what was your favorite COD meme that you tweeted out, or like COD meme from this year so far?
Oh, man, that's probably anything to
Tough
do with
question.
Modern Warfare. Like I feel like it's pretty easy to meme about Modern Warfare. I don't know. I can't even remember any of my memes. Some of them are pretty bad. Some of them are pretty funny.
I mean, there's the LeBron was kind of funny. The one with Rim 6 and you'll never.
Oh yeah, that one
Line?
was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love memeing. That's probably one of my favorite parts about having this Twitter.
Yeah, I was looking back, trying to figure out like your most like engaged tweets and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and like most of them are just like you memeing. It has nothing to do with it. So it's kind of
yeah.
funny.
People love memes, man. What can I say? The easiest way to get impressions in this community is memeing or just tweeting a clip about Scump. Like honestly,
Yeah.
You're not
you
wrong
tweet
there.
anything about Green Wall or Huntsman, and it's so many impressions. I try not to do it all the time because I don't want to turn it into a T2P page.
Yeah, there's already a lot of those, so no
Yeah,
need.
exactly.
Yeah.
Shout out Kip Skills. But moving forward, so we were wondering. I know I saw a tweet from you talking about how Jake Lucky, he often references you, and I was
Yeah.
wondering how do you feel seeing other pros, news outlets, like citing you when it comes to rumors or leaks or anything like that?
I love it, man. Like I love getting credited for things I do. Getting credited by Jake Lucky and ESPN even gave me a shout out once. For me, that's a better feeling than leaking rosters and getting them right. Like
Mm.
I love being credited. It feels good. It feels good that all my hard work is people care about what I have to say. Even when Charlie Insel and Tuxedo give me a shout out, I love that. And I always when there's a clip of someone shouting me out, I always send it to my in real life friends, and they love it. They think I'm famous. It's crazy.
That's amazing. That's actually amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. So the next question I'm going to ask is based on a comment you left on a Reddit post that I made.
Yeah,
So who are the best talents right now from the APAC and the EU scene right now, and why is one of them Hydra?
Hydro is insane. Like I talk about Hydro all the time on my Discord, and other people DM me about him. I think he's really, really talented. I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know a lot about the challenger scene because I don't have time to follow it. But I've seen clips and I've heard a lot about this guy. And even in Black Ops 4, I think he was underage. I think he was 17. People were telling me
Yeah.
back then that he's the European Dashi or the French Dashi or whatever. And you know, I've seen clips of him this year, and someone actually tweeted out today. It was an amateur player, and he wanted to know Hydra's full setup, everything that he has, because he's just so insane that everyone wants to know what he runs, how he runs, and how he's as great as he is. But I honestly, I think that he's going to be in a team next year. I honestly do. I know teams are already scouting him.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay.
Yeah,
And then what about Pred? Do you think Pred has a chance to get picked up?
yeah, he's insane, but it's tough for APAC people to get into the CDL. The only reason Paris got those three in there is because Lando built their team, and Lando knows what he's talking about, and Lando knows the Mindfreak guys were dominating last year for the majority of it. But it's tough because it's hard to gauge how good Pred really is because there's not many good teams in APAC. There's like maybe three decent teams. One of them's really good, and it's Renegades. So I guess it's hard for franchises to gauge how good he really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that was one of the problems with Luca too, right?
Yeah.
It's like everyone was talking about Luca being so good, and he's been fine in some maps, but he's been overall like a little bit disappointing for me just because of how hyped he was coming in.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge people from different regions. EU's a little bit better because they have better competition there. But APAC is just like there's not many teams there at all, and it's hard to gauge how good he is. If there wasn't COVID, I think Renegades planned on going to 3 or 4 LAN events. So I think he could have made for a name for himself there. But yeah, it's tough for the APAC people. And even other scenes like Latin America, I think it is. They don't even they've been tweeting at me every week, DM me, trying to get me to talk to the CDL to get their region in, on MLG or in the challenges. There's not much that I can do, but I've been trying to get their name out there for them.
That's nice.
Yeah,
well, I know they had they tried like the circuit thing in World War II, but it just kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Like they tried like the Mexico. I know Mexico, like the top teams were just 2 Mexican players, then 2 American players.
Yeah.
They kind of just broke the system there.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when you have to play over the internet, and it's not like APAC can just go and verse North American people.
Yeah, but lastly, just to sum up this interview, we saw a lot of comments on Reddit when we asked for questions. One of the most popular responses was a guy by the name of U2. He said, "Just tell him, Crone, being you, I love him. Been relying on him for updates for all the off-stream games for years now. Truly a must-follow for anyone trying to follow the scene closely." And I think that's how we feel. We really appreciate what you do, Crone, and we'll hope you're here for a long time. So thank you very much for coming on the podcast, man.
That's fine, man. I appreciate everything. I appreciate everyone, anything ever says about me. I see everything. I'm on the internet all the time. Any comments on Reddit, I always read them, and I love it. I love it.
So with that, do you have anything else left to say before we wrap up the podcast?
Yeah, Modern Warfare is shit. I'll say that.
I'll get
I hope
fined
that
for
next
that.
year. Yeah, well, I can't get fined, so I'm good. I hope that next year it's a lot better because this year I definitely very low on passion and motivation to even watch the game. I barely even watch the games, to be completely honest with you. It's just no, I don't enjoy this year at all, and I think that goes for a lot of the community. And I hope that next year's a lot better. I don't think it can get much worse, but I hope it's a lot better because if it's not, I don't know how long I can stick around in this community. It's pretty tough at the moment.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, like we're trying to break down gameplay on our podcast. It's tough sometimes because things happen that aren't supposed to happen.
Yeah, what can you say?
Spawns that we can't control.
Yeah, you can't say anything apart from the game shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but with that, that should wrap up the 8th episode of the Hipfire podcast. Thank you everyone for listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and let us know what you want to see in the next one. See ya.